here's a sight for sore eyes. Good morning, sunshine. How are we feeling?
I don't know, Captain.
Do you know?
The unit appears disoriented.
Yeah, time traveling 400 years into the future will do that to you.
Are you certain he's fully functional?
Go on, Jack. Tell her you're all right.
I think so. A little confused.
I don't doubt it. You've been out of commission ever since our little time jump on the Estrella.
Maybe we should run through his calibration program.
I just spent the past 3 months patching him up. You think I made a mistake?
Well, you're only human.
Well, how about we ask him? What do you think, Jack? You want to run your calibration program?
Hello, I'm Fast Lawyer. Today we are going to review Lone Echo 2 VR, a game released on the Oculus Store on October 12th, 2021 by developer Ready at Dawn. It's made exclusively for the Oculus Rift. I bought this game on release and tested this game out on the Oculus Quest 2 using the Oculus Link cable. Lone Echo 2 is a continuation of the story from the first Lone Echo. It also has a lot of the same gameplay elements from the first, although there are some new additions. Lone Echo 2 is a narrative-driven game. It has zero gravity controls, stunning visuals, and a very emotional story. The experience is very character-driven, and you really get to see this friendship between Jack, an android, and Captain Olivia Rhodes, which brings up all kinds of questions. And regardless of what we may think about their friendship pulls them together in this epic space adventure they go through. There's also some light puzzle elements. A lot of the puzzles are figuring out how to get through an obstacle, how to get around a danger, and there's also some light combat. Now, I almost hesitate to call it combat, but basically there's some light shooting sections in this game. Now, I highly recommend Lone Echo 2. I think it's a great game, but I did face several technical issues, especially at the start of this game. Now, I want to estimate it took me about 10 hours to complete the game, but 1 or 2 hours were actually spent just in trying to get around some of the bugs I faced initially in this game. Lone Echo 2 is running on a custom in-house built engine at Ready at Dawn. I did face some optimization performance issues, especially at the start of this game. What I eventually figured out is that I definitely needed to run this game on an SSD drive in order to avoid some of the hiccups this game had. Once I did move the game to my SSD drive, it did run significantly better, but I did lose my initial save in this game, so that's why an extra hour or so was lost just dealing with that issue. Even after I moved the game to my SSD drive, I still noticed the game had some frame rate drops and it would also occasionally stutter. I noticed that usually happened when scenes were transitioning or when you're moving from one area to another area. I also experienced 3 separate game crashes, although only one time after I had moved the game to my SSD drive. I am using an RTX 3080 and I did run the game on high graphical settings, although I did turn off anti-aliasing. The only locomotion are the zero gravity controls you have. So basically you can grab any object and push or pull yourself through space, as well as you have these boosters that can help you out. As you progress through the game, you do gain more maneuverability. You do have smooth and snap turning available, as well as controls for pitch, roll, and yaw. You also have tools available as you progress in the game. You unlock more of them. You can basically cut through some of the objects or use a force pull grab tool. And again, you unlock more tools as you go through the game, and they will help you in solving some of the puzzles or through the combat. And again, although there are some puzzles and there is some combat, this is a narrative driven game. Most of the game is mostly cinematic. You can look at some of the highlighted objects and then start a conversation. There are also some choices to make along the way. I'm not sure exactly how those choices would impact the story. I would expect that the choices made don't really affect the story and are more along the lines of being flavor text. Now, I really don't want to get into the story because I don't want to give out any spoilers, but I will say that I really enjoyed it. It really is a character study on the relationship between Jack and Liv and how they develop this really deep and meaningful friendship and how they survive and stick together through these very harrowing set of events that happen in this story. There's some very touching and emotional scenes in this game. One of them is where Liv is basically holding out her hand for you to hold on to, and it's a very emotional scene. I won't say anything more than that, but I will say it did bring a tear to my eye. I'm not ashamed to admit that. The visuals here are top notch. There are some technical difficulties. I did notice a little bit of blurriness in the background, but putting aside some of the minor technical issues, this is amazing work. A lot of detail in these environments. The character models, the animations, while not perfect, are still very stunning, very jaw-dropping. Although I will admit there is a bit of an uncanny valley aspect to the experience, just because Liv does look almost lifelike, but not exactly realistic enough. So it does look a little odd at times. I thought the sound mix in this game was exceptional. Great voice acting by everyone involved in this cast. Good spatial audio, good sound effects, and a really nice soundtrack that was silent at all the right times and did bring that needed musical accompaniment when it was needed. As far as the gameplay, I would agree that the gameplay here is pretty basic. However, I thought the VR interactions were very smooth and polished. They were nicely thought out. These puzzles, these combat elements kept you immersed in the story, and they just felt like a natural component to the journey that you were going through. Besides the performance and optimization issues, the only other criticisms I have of this experience is that I did notice that during some of the animations, the characters could clip through objects, and I really did not like how you had to pull out a screen in order to respond to a lot of the queries from the other characters in the game. This mechanic kind of did take you out of the otherwise very immersive experience. Despite the technical issues, I would say that Lone Echo 2 is my favorite VR game of 2021, but because of the performance and optimization issues, I can only give it a 4 out of 5 stars. I would love to give it a perfect score, but I just can't because of all the issues I faced. Anyways, I highly recommend it. Even with all the issues, it is my favorite game of 2021 so far, and definitely should be a VR Game of the Year contender. Anyways, I'm Fast Lawyer. If you enjoyed my review, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, have a wonderful day and enjoy the rest of the video.
While I was trying to fix you, I may have accidentally set you on fire.
I beg your pardon.
It only happened once. No. Wait. Twice. But you're here now, so it's fine. Ugh, perfect. I swear sometimes it feels like this place is just a hair's breadth from falling to pieces. That usually works.
Where exactly are we?
We're on a space station orbiting Saturn.
That sounds familiar.
Well, not our old station, obviously. After we made our jump to the future, we were picked up off the Astrea and brought here and placed in isolation.
Isolation?
Juno says it's standard procedure. As if there is such a thing for time travel. Ah, there we go. Honestly, I wish I knew more about this place, but Juno's not exactly been forthcoming with the details. Hey, maybe now that I've got you back, we can work on getting some answers. And here we have the luxury suite. It's a far cry from my old room on the Kronos, but I think I've managed to spruce it up a bit. What do you think?
Well, I can certainly tell this is your room.
Because of all the Kronos 2 mementos.
Because it's a mess.
Hey, I've worked very hard to cultivate this mess. Juno let me co-opt a few cargo drones to dig through what's left of the Kronos.
The Kronos 2 is still out there.
I mean, I can't be sure, but yeah. I think there are at least 1 or 2 sections that managed to stay in orbit after all these years. Plus there was quite a bit of debris that got pulled into the future with us. And it's a good thing, too. Otherwise, I'd never have found all the parts I needed to fix you.